I know that you're always scared. Tell me something's like, listen, I might. Do you have that something that I need in mind? Son, love me, baby. Tell me what I wanna hear. Tell me that you love, tell me that you love me. Love me, baby. Tell me what I wanna.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm here with an Elijah Mcclain update. Please stay tuned. On Friday, the Aurora Police Department released controversial photos that show the Aurora police officers reenacting Elijah Mcclain's incapacitation. The photos show the three officers, Kyle Dittrich, Erica Marrero, and Jaron Jones, according to APD. They were taken by Dittrich and shared in text messages to the officers. One officer who received the pictures did not respond, while another officer, Jason Rosenblatt, responded, "Ha ha," quote unquote. The three Aurora, Colorado police officers have been fired over photos that show two of them grinning and mocking the death of Elijah Mcclain, a 23-year-old massage therapist who was arrested and placed in a chokehold last August. Mr. Mcclain died several days later. Vanessa Wilson, the interim chief of the Aurora Police Department, said she fired the officers on Friday morning for conduct unbecoming. A fourth officer resigned on Tuesday. While the allegations of this internal affairs case are not criminal, it is a criminal crime against humanity and decency, Chief Wilson said at a Friday afternoon news conference. To even think about doing such a thing is beyond comprehension, and it's reprehensible. It shows a lack of morals, of values, and integrity, and a judgment that I can no longer trust to allow them to wear this badge. Chief Wilson shook her head as she revealed a photo of officers Erica Marrero, Kyle Dittrich, and Jaron Jones grinning in selfies they took last October near a memorial that had been set up in Mr. Mcclain's memory. Another photo showed Officer Dittrich smiling widely as Officer Jones wraps his arms around his neck. Officer Marrero is grinning in the background. The photos were then sent to Officer Jason Rosenblatt, one of the three officers who arrested Mr. Mcclain last summer. "I am disgusted to my core," said Chief Wilson, who apologized several times to Mr. Mcclain's family during the news conference. She also apologized to the police officers nationwide whose reputations she said were unfairly besmirched by the actions of the officers in her department. Chief Wilson said she was planning to meet with the community leaders to get their feedback on how the department could regain the city's trust. She said the police department had changed its directive on how to respond to the kind of 911 calls that led to Mr. Mcclain's death. Chief Wilson said the department was also examining its training procedures. She then goes on to say, "I shouldn't have to teach this," she said. "There is no training that should have to teach human decency." I'm now going to attach some footage of protesters going in Colorado and Aurora and other commentary from the governor releasing a statement and so forth. Please stay tuned.
Asking you to have a little flexibility tonight and fire those officers.
Lily, I know that everyone is angry, and I get it, and I understand
No,
that.
you don't.
I'm telling you,
No, you don't.
I am telling you the truth, that I do not have the power to fire these officers. So there are three separate investigations that are going on, one ordered by the governor, one by the FBI, and another independent investigation.
Yeah. See, so I've been here for the last 10 months. I am perfectly aware of what is going on with this case.
For those of you who don't know the story about Elijah Mcclain, on August 24th, 2019, Mr. Mcclain was walking home from a convenience store when someone called 911 saying he looked sketchy and was wearing a ski mask and waving his arms. The police arrived, and though Mr. Mcclain had not been accused of a crime, they started to restrain him. In the blurry body camera footage of the arrest, Mr. Mcclain can be heard telling the officers he is an introvert and wants them to leave him alone. One of the officers is heard saying Mr. Mcclain reached for another officer's weapon, but that cannot be seen in the footage, ironically. The encounter escalates as officers threaten to use a taser if he doesn't stop fighting. One of the officers places him in a carotid hold, which restricts blood to the brain to render someone unconscious. The now infamous line, "I can't breathe," Mr. Mcclain can be heard gasping, "Please stop." After paramedics arrived, they injected Mr. Mcclain with ketamine, a powerful sedative. On the way to the hospital, Mr. Mcclain went into cardiac arrest and he died 3 days later. And now we can see that people are still protesting, and the protesters have not stopped. And don't stop, protesters. Keep doing what you're doing. I don't know why they're complaining, saying that you all are blocking the street. But no one was complaining about the fact that these officers are blocking this young man's airways from breathing. How about that for thought? But yes, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, protesters. And, I was out there protesting, and I encourage anyone to go and protest to stand up for what's right. And here is the government statement that he released on Twitter. His public statement is here. Please stay tuned so you all can read it. Governor Polis goes on to say, "As a father, my heart breaks for the Mcclain family," Polis added. "All Coloradans should be safe walking home from the convenience store or just being in their own neighborhoods listening to headphones. Unfortunately, I know that it's not how many people, especially young people of color, feel in our state today because I've heard it from them directly. We need to do a better job, and at the bare minimum, they deserve a thorough review of the case." And as of now, a panel is currently being put together by Twombly and Councilwoman Allison Hiltz. The pair expect to have names of the candidates ready for the July 20th study session. The panel will be led by someone with expertise in Justice Department civil rights litigation, perhaps a retired judge, and also include a member with medical background, Twombly said. Once assembled and passed by a city council vote, the team will go about its work looking at prior reviews and investigations with the goal of making recommendations and changes to the police and fire department policies, directives, and training. It will not be a criminal investigation. Mcclain's death has become a national and local focal point in the ongoing calls for police reform. Rallies calling for justice in his death have been held in Aurora and elsewhere across the country. "This is a time-sensitive issue," Kaufman said. "The community wants closure. We want closure. The sooner this is on the ground, it will be appreciated by many." And next, I have some more topics going on in the media right now. A black man in Indiana says he feared he was about to be lynched in a heated 4th of July encounter with a group of white men that was partially caught on video. Vox Rush Booker wrote on Facebook that he was walking with a friend Saturday to watch a lunar eclipse near Lake Monroe when he was confronted by a man in a Confederate flag hat who appeared to be inebriated. Other people who heard the commotion tried to help as the alleged attackers told them, "We're going to break his arms," while instructing their pals to get a noose, Booker wrote. But Booker said that he's speaking out because he's gravely concerned that if any other people of color who were to cross their path, they could be killed. "I don't want to recount this, but I was almost the victim of an attempted lynching," Booker wrote on Facebook. "I don't want this to have happened to me or anyone." It hurts my soul and my pride, but there are multiple witnesses and it can't be hidden or avoided. Their local mayor speaks out in response to this.
I'm going to.
I'm John Hamilton. I'm the mayor of Bloomington, Indiana. Sunday night, I saw videos on social media that showed a member of my community, somebody I know, experiencing just horrific violence, attacks, terrifying to watch, no doubt 100 times worse to be in, terrible racial epithets, conflict, really angering me, also infuriating me. I learned through the video and then subsequent activities that there had been a conflict not in my city, but near my city at a lake in a state-controlled area of this kind of awful racial hatred erupting.
That's what you get.
I do know Vox Booker. I've been mayor for 5 years, and I've probably known him for 5 years, and he's been a very active member of the community. I care a great deal, and I want to help my residents have justice. And of course, we want to stop this kind of thing from ever happening. It's a terrible reminder that racism, we're a very progressive city, democratic city, progressive, liberal. We believe in inclusion, but in our community, we know we have hate incidents every year. We know there's racism in our community and around our community, and we can't pretend that's not the case. I don't know what would have happened in the woods around Lake Monroe if there hadn't been other individuals there, if there hadn't been a video taken. We pray that any terrible episode, horrific interaction like this ends at least with as little violence as possible. There was obviously violence, but I don't know what would have happened.
I know I probably shouldn't be amazed, but I actually am still amazed that people are this brazen with the technology that we have today. Like, you're going to be recorded, right? Like, it's going to go viral. You're going to get caught. You're going to get caught. You're going to get caught up. And your life's going to be over. So I don't understand how people still think they can get away with doing stuff like this. They act like cell phones and video cameras was never invented. I mean, please, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Next in the news today, the woman who called the cops on the man in Central Park is now being charged. Please stay tuned.
Would you please stop? Sir, I'm asking you to stop.
Please don't come close to me.
Sir, I'm asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to
And
me.
I'm taking a picture and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
Excuse me? I'm sorry, I'm in the Ramble, and there is a man, African-American, he has a bicycle helmet. He is recording. Would you please stop? He's recording me and threatening me and my dog. There is an African-American man, I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog. And my... I'm sorry, I can't hear you either. I'm being threatened by a man in the Ramble. Please send the cops immediately. I'm in Central Park in the Ramble. I don't know.
Thank you.
Next in news, the family of Corinne Gaines, a 23-year-old killed by Baltimore County Police in 2016, wins $38 million appeal in wrongful death lawsuit. for the recap. I don't want to say that this video was a little bit more positive, but I hope that it is. Now that we're starting to see justice get served a little bit, you know. I can't really say it's being served, but I can't say it's not being served either, you know. With the woman who's getting charged for calling that police on the man in Central Park, and then we have the attempted lynchings getting caught on camera, and the mayors and governors speaking out about that, and Miss Gaines' family winning $38 million. I think, you know, justice is getting served a little bit, even though it took a while. They have not even begun to crack the case with the Elijah Mcclain situation. It almost seems like they don't care, but I mean, they only care because millions of people are signing a petition now, you know. But, you know, at least I see something starting to move forward with all this misery going on in the news right now and in the world. You know, I'm trying to focus on some of the positives. I can't really say it's positives, but, you know, the resolutions, you know, and, you know, I hope that these people that attempted the lynching of this young man get charged ASAP pronto. They were caught on camera and they were just stupid. I mean, how did they not think that this was going to go out there? How did they not think it was going to go viral anyway? But, you know, and they're doing stuff like that all the time, too. I remember hearing about lynchings going on in Florida years ago, like around Trayvon Martin, you know. So now, because of cameras and people are quick with it, thank God, people are getting caught. And all this stuff is getting brought to light. It's just disappointing that this is what we see in the news and we can't really see anything positive, any progress. It's just the same old, you know. But, you know, if we keep pushing and trying and protesting to get everything together, then hopefully one day our great grandkids won't have to deal with these type of scenarios. But that is all for my recap. Thank you guys for watching my video. Please comment below for anything you would like to see in the future. Let's get this discussion going on these topics. Please let me know what more topics you want to see and want me to review. I will gladly do so. And thank you guys for coming to my channel. See you next video.